What's up, everyone? It's JOESAVY bringing some StarCraft 2 strategy. Today is a TvZ matchup that opened up quite nicely, I believe. Terran versus Zerg matchup. Zerg opponent is Jammies. And I myself opening up 10 Depot, 12 Barracks, 12 Refinery, actually. So 12-12. It delays the 13th SCV slightly, but not so bad, and you can get that faster Reaper out. Timings line up pretty well, and then you can also get that factory out before your second Reaper is produced. So sending the 12 SCV, we're going to pick it up to 4x until something happens. There we go. 10 Depot, and then take that same SCV, 12 Refinery, 12 Barracks. There we go. First unit will be a Reaper. By the time the Barracks is done, I'll have over 50 gas, so it's a good thing. Get a Reaper and then wait up for 100 gas to get a factory. So Reaper on the way, building another supply depot to close the wall. I'll be expanding behind this as well, right after the factory, or as I have 400 minerals behind the factory. So factory on the way, waiting for 50 more gas. There you go, second Reaper on the way. First Reaper not doing much, I actually have him up on the ledge. I don't want to risk losing him yet. It'll weaken my overall push if I lose my Reaper, so don't want that to happen. As I got 400 minerals, I got my command center. Timing wise, don't have anything perfected, don't really have a point where I take my second gas until I switch to siege tanks. Another Reaper, double producing Hellions. There's two. I probably should have shown what happened right there. So I'm going to take my two Reapers and actually poke them inside. My first two Reapers, which was actually back there a little ways. We're going to speed up till we get to that point. 8x. Let's see. Reaper on the way. I got poked with my first two. So first Reaper goes and waits. Second one, as he's done, there you go, he's going to go too. Alright, so I'm going to poke up with these first two Reapers, not expecting to kill too much. Poke in, I think I get a worker or two. 1, 2, but unfortunately I stayed too long and ended up losing one of my Reapers. So, but I get my second one away. Third Reaper on the way, Hellions in double production. Once this command center finishes, I'll get an Orbital and float it down to the low ground. So two Reapers. When I get 4 Hellions, I push. That's kind of how it works. It's as many Reapers as you can get out. So like, should have been about 4 Reapers and then 4 Hellions, and you do a push. And if he's under defended like this with just 2 Queens and no Roach Warren in sight, then bad deal for him. Really, it's just bad position to be in. That's why most Zergs have been opening up with Roach. Following up my fast expand, or my natural expand with the third, and that's on the way, getting a Barracks to help me spend most of my minerals. There you go. A lot of times I'll actually transition out of this right away, unless it's successful, and then I'll just continue the pressure. So I'll just, you know, keep poking until I get pushed away, and that could be by roaches or hydralisks or Zergling, Baneling. Although Ling Bling is a little harder because you have to lay some money shots and hope the Hellions don't get away and that kind of thing. So another Reaper on the way. This should actually be about 5 Reapers had I not skipped production cycles. Control Shift F. We're just going to follow the poke as we go inside. There you go. We're going to pick off the first Queen. Nice little pick off. And then we're going to pick off the second Queen. Sitting there pretty much helpless. Doesn't have much to defending assist. The Reapers are going to deal the DPS necessary. And then go right in the middle line. No spine crawlers to have to deal with. Third Queen's about to go down too. These Lings aren't going to do anything. And as far as the production tab goes, 2 Reapers, 2 Hellions. The reason I'm doing this and not getting a tech lab and a reactor on my barracks is because of this. I'm in his mineral line, I'm wiping out everything. Lings are on the field, no roaches, and I'm in a good position to continue the poke. So, you know, the Reapers are going to heal themselves, the Hellions are going to do the splash. 18 workers killed so far. Good, good. Just poking up, waiting for my units to heal. I probably should have pulled these up and would have been able to deal with this a little faster, but I'm gonna move to the low ground where I can deal out some damage right there. So, hang on a second, my volume's a little high. Bear with me for just a minute. Okay. So we're gonna poke through, kill as much as we can, pull a couple more Hellions, then poke back up, try to go in the main. Notice natural's down. one of the shortfalls of this game is that I just didn't do enough to spend all my money, so following that up with like 5 barracks, lowering my command center to low ground. Eventually I'll be swapping this up with a tech lab and saturating my natural. So a couple Hellions, don't really notice them. Needlessly lose a couple Reapers, which I shouldn't have done. Just gonna roast a ton of Zerglings, or at least as fast as I can. And this isn't something that you want to do if you get pushed back. If the minute you see roaches, go back home, get a bunker up, start getting marauders out and that kind of thing. Don't continue this pressure if you're in a position where you cannot push up. Say he's got 1, 2, 3, 4 spine crawlers, or even 3, or even 2 well-placed ones with a couple of Evo chambers blocking your entrance. Don't do this. But because this is a wide open ramp, I already roasted his entire naturals mineral line, and he doesn't have a whole bunch to defend. 2 queens on the way. In the main, let's see, let's just look at the units. We have 17 Zerglings and 1 queen versus 4 Reapers and 9 Hellions. So 17 Reapers versus 9, or 17 Lings versus 9 Hellions isn't a good trade-off to begin with, and the Reapers just add the extra DPS and tanking ability that makes this very potent composition versus this, especially on a ramp. I mean, if he's going to engage right here, I could just roast everything before they even get down and touch me. There we go. He's going to pretty much run away, go into the base, start poking around, try to kill as many workers as humanly possible, or as Terran possible. There you go. We're going to roast all the Lings, and the next wave of Lings are going to pop as well, so back to production. But not before I did a lot of damage. 30 workers, 31, maybe get up to like 33 or something. 32. A couple Reapers there, lone Reapers that are meant to die. He has taken his 3rd, but I have my 3rd up as well. Should be a Orbital, but I don't have a whole bunch of units out. Floating a lot of minerals. I mean, I spent a lot of actions just on that type of engagement and roasting all his workers. So the follow-up right here is going to be really important. I can't risk to sit by on just a couple barracks, so I built a ton. I need to spend all my money and saturate at the same time. As far as production goes, we have, for some reason, no workers on the way. So that was a mistake on my part. Now we got 2, 3 soon. Come on. And notice Hellions are not very good at blowing down the rocks, so that's a bad deal on my part. Marines take a long time too, especially when they're unupgraded. And he's doing a Ling counterattack, which was smart. Something he had to do. He's going to push up, attack my 3rd. More importantly though, the benefit that I gained from that was not so much the worker kills, but was delaying his army production to the point where I can't push on it. So, if we look at units lost, see, I'm definitely up. I'm up by about 1,000, 1,500, 1,300. He's going to even it a little bit by killing these workers, but not a whole bunch. And as I start, sending or producing units, then I'll get into a position where I can push out, and Lings will become pretty much a non-factor, especially versus, heavy Marine tank and that kind of thing. I don't end up going heavy Marine tank though. I end up getting, a few tanks and then transitioning to Widow Mines and working that way. Get a few tanks and mostly Mass Marine though. Gonna focus down the rocks, go down, blow these rocks down because they'll topple over and create a wall. And that's always good. My main's pretty well protected. He could bust this, then I'd have to do some splitting, and then I'd just close this wall, double wall, that kind of thing. And I'd be alright, but even still, I figured he didn't have enough to do that. He probably should have just came up and tried to bust me and kill me on the spot like that, but looking on Jammy's side, Spire is up, so it's something I have to worry about. But that initial pressure was enough to pretty much cripple him. Let's go back into production. So Barracks, stem on the way. Combat shield, I actually kind of forgot about, and I should have got that, but I didn't. So that was a mistake. Units wise, only 44 STVs. He ended up wiping out like 10 or 15. Maybe it's like, yeah, he killed 10. So that was my 50-something SCVs that I'd rather have. I did do a scout. We're going to go into my vision. I scout the Spire, so I'm trying to pull all my units to a position where they're better off. Getting turrets up in my natural. Should have taken some of these Marines up to my main, but, I'm working on getting turrets up there too. These Marines should do pretty good at defending against these mutas. There you go. He's going to get scared away. He doesn't want to mess with that. Main's left a little bit more vulnerable, though. Turrets aren't even completed. I should have pulled more Marines up there. Only sending 4 and leaving these down here at the 3rd to defend for the most part. So he's got me contained now. We're going to pick it up till we get to a point where we actually push out. It's just more of the same, you know, just tons of bio, a couple tanks, medevacs, that kind of thing. Gonna end up pushing them back, you know, enough Marines, medevacs pop. Mutas trying to poke up, do a bunch of damage, but Marines again are the counter to mutas, so. Patrolling Marines is nice because as mutas try to push up, the Marines patrolling will start attacking. Bringing my army together, you know, I'm kind of all over the place with the mouse, so we're just gonna pick it up till we have a big enough army to push out. A little bit of a supply cap. Oop. Okay. I'll go back just a little bit. Forgot what time that was supposed to be at. Okay, so I'm getting ready to push out. 172 supply. Okay, so I scout, obviously, the swarm host locusts. Then I go, okay, well now it's time to push out and attack. So the way to deal with locusts, well, for one, being ahead by about 40 supply really helps. But the way to deal with locusts is to push out against them, scan, and wipe everything out. The one thing you have to worry about are bannerlings. Obviously, bannerlings are a big difficult thing to deal with. Hydras can be difficult, especially if they're absorbing a bunch of damage, and they'll wipe out your medevacs, so be careful with that. But versus just straight up, swarm hosts, they don't do well. Swarm host Buta, horrible composition. So as you push up, I didn't have a scan, so I almost blew it right here. But either way, my Marines, upgraded to 0-0, but they're still able, just with the vast numbers, to pretty much kill everything he's got. So drop a scan. Almost a fail. He had one more swarm host left, so I'm going to scan one more time, kill that, push up, and this is the point where I'm going to go ahead and do crazy drop aggression. Because of medevac speed boost, I can literally drop wherever I want and then run away. So the key to effective dropping is drop in more than one area at a time. So if I just send one medevac right here, it's going to get cleaned up very easily. If I send a medevac here, 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 and possibly even here, the natural, then it's going to be much more difficult for him to deal with it. And because most Zergs don't, build a ton of static defense. Now some do, I'm not saying that they all don't. It's very easy to pull this kind of thing off, so. Alright, so we're going to take our medevacs and, just continue to macro to this area. First medevac. Sorry. Let's see, second medevac. Third soon. There we go, third going down there, and I believe the fourth isn't going to do anything. So I end up dropping. I didn't know he had a base here, but just ended up dropping there anyway. Drop in the third base, pick off the queen, kill as many workers as possible. Drop right here, and end up finding out that, it's something I don't want to deal with, so I speed medevac away, the speed boost away, and drop at this base, which I just realized was being produced as this medevac was running away. This one I kind of left alone, although I was paying attention to it, because I saw the little indicator, my units were under attack, and I saw the queen, so I'm going to kill the queen, and try to focus down the hatch rather than the workers, because the spine crawler's right there. This one really was probably my best drop, because I end up wiping out a ton of workers. Now you can see, worker count's now up to 43, worker killed count. Just macroing up in the middle, so any type of counterattack, with the exception of crazy bannerling push, will get cleaned up by this right here, these Marines. Another medevac moving up around the side. This medevac uncontested, everyone vision. Now he has a ton of Marines, or a ton of minerals, but not a lot of gas, so he's working on that tier 3 transition. Notice all the corruptors. So, of course he says something like feel proud. I guess he's referring to the fact that I just dropped him and pretty much beat him, because yeah, we'll go into that a little bit later. So these Marines are going to get cleaned up. Picked up a few, ran that medevac away. Another medevac dropping at the fourth, but this one's going to actually get cleaned up before it can do anything. This one, however, this medevac, this lone medevac, is going to get some damage done. And then as these medevacs dropped, so we have one right here. This still hasn't been cleaned up. The corruptors did come up and kill the medevac, but I still have a couple Marines just dishing out damage. Units lost now is 47 on worker count for the Zerg. Now my army, pushing up, will attack straight on right here. So just push into this base. Let's see, let's look at everyone vision. This is what I scouted. The rocks are still there, and that's all that really mattered to me. So that means he's pretty much cut off. So I'm going to push right into this base, and as he sends focus all his attention on killing this drop right here, I'm going to push up with my entire army into his third, his natural third, or I guess third or fourth, I don't know how you want to count it. This drop gets cleaned up, but not before this one's going to come in and literally just wreck house. Do some pre-splitting on the Marines so they don't get killed by like 5 banelings. Poke up, deal with the Zerglings, and then I'm going to eventually just push up right here and wipe out the natural. More units being rallied in. These few Marines are going to push up right here, see if he expanded again, and just do multi-pronged attacks, just over and over and over again, push him to the point of not being able to deal with it. So these Marines are just pushing out to, again, do some more harassment and damage. One thing I didn't know is that he had Broodlords, but he only has about 7 Broodlords and nothing else. So no Banelings, no Zerglings, no Infestors at all. No Infestors at all. And I have 2 Vikings, which they're not going to kill Broodlords extremely fast, but I have 1,700 in the banks, 1,600 in some of the gas. I have a base about to pop, which I probably should have saturated right away, but I was too focused on doing the drops and killing them, so I didn't do it. Pull some workers from right here, 20 over 24. And, even maybe produce some more after I killed off some stuff. But we're just going to push up. As far as dealing with Broodlords directly, you can honestly just stem under them and focus fire them down. So, especially with this many Marines. Better to actually unsiege the siege tank, but I didn't do that. So, I'm going to focus, 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 focus. I hate pieces of poo-poo like you. And, yeah. So just poke up a little bit more, kill off the rest of his Broodlords, and then I'll be good to go. Alright. When something's OP, you milk the most out of it. Yes. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Just like when Infestor, Broodlord, or as I like to refer them, GG Lords were prevalent, you milk the shit out of them too, okay? So you would come, show up, and you would use, like Ling Baneling early on. You would contain me in my base because I wouldn't be able to push out until I was either maxed out or doing some drop or something like that. And then you get Infestors. And then at that point, you were pretty much impervious to my push. Now, you weren't indestructible, but you would delay me long enough that you can build up a large supply of Corruptors and then transform a ton into Broodlords, all the while, expanding all over the map. And because you have a ton of links, you'll be able to, clean up any kind of drop, deal with pretty much anything I could do, and then at that point you'll push across the map with your giant Zerg death ball. And because I was contained, to this section of the map, chances are I wouldn't be able to get this section or this expansion, and possibly not this one, or else you'd counter over here or counter right here, because I'd be just too stretched out across the map. You'd push across with your giant, Broodlord, Corruptor, Infestor army, and then we trade, and even if I came out ahead, you'd counter that with a max out of speedlings or something like that. Well, now I have medevacs with speed, so I could do drops and get away with most of my army and keep my medevacs alive and that kind of thing. And, yeah, I'm going to milk that until it gets nerfed. I'm going to milk Widow Mines until they get nerfed. Hellbats, all that different thing. Reapers with their new healing ability. I'm going to use them until Blizzard says I can't use them anymore and they nerf them and take them away. Now, will that happen? I don't know. Will Zergs adapt to it? Possibly. I mean, most of the stuff that they said was OP in Wings of Liberty wasn't, and Zergs just adapted to it, and they got good versus it, and that kind of thing. So, strategy-wise, I mean, I didn't really deviate too much from a standard Wings of Liberty strategy. Notice I got the starports as I started seeing the Corruptor Broodlord, and that was just to hard counter it after this, say this first Marine group failed. I didn't know what his supply was. I mean, you don't get to see it in game, so, yeah, I mean, a few tanks, pretty much mass Marine with a couple tanks, medevacs dropping all over the place. The one thing, that really benefited me, though, was the speed boost. I could run all my stuff away. But as far as dealing with this, I didn't have Widow Mines in my, my mineral patches, and I didn't have Widow Mines all over the place, so, I don't really think he has any room to say when something's OP, you milk out the most out of it. No, I just chose a strategy that relied heavily around medevac drops, so that's what I did. Yes, that's what I did. So that's it. That's all I'm going to say in this video. Thanks for watching, guys. Like the channel, subscribe, you like the video, hit the like button, and leave a comment if you have any questions or suggestions. Alright guys, have a good one.